Welcome back to Homemade Cooking. Today I'm going to teach you guys how to make your very own homemade carbohydrates. The 3 fat foods: bread, tortillas, and tortilla chips. So, baked tortilla chips. Everything you're going to need: honey, pink Himalayan salt or just any salt, water, baking powder, flour, and butter. Lots of butter. Okay? And you need an egg and some yeast. And this is the egg and the yeast right here. Break an egg, pour in 2 teaspoons of yeast, and let that rise and sit for just a little bit, and then mix it together. But I like to let that sit for about 5 minutes so the egg can activate the yeast. Now this is about a 1/4 cup of melted butter. I'm touching it because you don't want it too hot. If it's too hot, it'll fuck with your yeast. And you ladies know how if your yeast is fucked up, then your body's fucked up. If your yeast is fucked up in your bread, your bread will be fucked up. Give that a pretty good stir, by the way. Now we add in the honey. It's about a tablespoon of honey. Put as much in there as you want. If you want it sweeter, add more. If you don't like sweet, don't put any in it. I just like a little bit of sweet. Now we're adding a 1/4 cup of water, lukewarm water. Put in a little bit of salt, like a teaspoon. Now you're going to add your flour. I used about 2 and some change cups of flour. If you want more bread, use more flour. But remember, you're going to have to add a little bit more of the other ingredients because it has to have a certain consistency and texture, or it'll fuck up. It's best if you add just a little bit at a time or a cup at a time. But it's up to you. If you want to add it all at once and confuse the shit out of yourself, go for it. If you're like me and you get confused easily, add a cup at a time and then sprinkle in a little bit more if it just doesn't feel right. Now you're gonna flour your bread mat, and I like to do it 3 times just to make sure. Remember, guys, everything I do, I put magic in my food. So everything I make, especially anything I bake, I put magic in it. So we do lots of prayers and saying magical things over your bread. And it really, not only does it make it taste better to me, but, you know, it's magic, okay? And it makes me fucking skinny. So if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. You don't have to believe in anything. You can believe in everything. It's up to you. But this is what I do. Now we knead it. I like to say knead. And I did it 33 times. Or maybe a little more than that, actually. But it's up to you. You can do it just a little bit. The more you knead it, the softer and better it gets. Some people will knead it and put it away for an hour and then re-knead it and then put it away for an hour. I just did it the one time for, time purposes. And now we made this pretty little ball. Also, I don't beat up my bread. I like to be gentle with it because I want my food to give you love. Why would I beat up my bread? Now we're gonna say some magic words and pray over it. It's up to you. You don't have to do that, but I did. Get your bread basket, put some paper towels at the bottom of it, and then wrap your little ball of bread in the flour, like roll it in the flour and then wrap it in a paper towel. And then give it a kiss, tell it you love it, and set it aside for about an hour. Now it's all grown up. You tell it how proud of it you are for growing up and being good bread. You're going to form it and shape it into whatever form you want. If you want a hoagie, stretch it out. If you want it just a ball of dough bread, turn it into a ball of dough bread. The best shape for cooking, though, is this weird kind of oblong-y shape that I'm about to put it in. It's kind of shaped like my hand or the bottom of an athlete's foot. Get your pre-buttered bread pan and then chop up some butter and put it on the top of it and push it in there just a little bit. I know that's weird, but I swear to God, it makes it taste so fucking delicious. And then we say our magic words over it and bake it in the oven on 365 for 20 to 30 minutes, depending on your oven. Look at it. I'm proud of it. It growed up. And then you cut it with your bread knife or a really, really sharp knife. I like the bottoms of mine kind of crispy, so it's a little hard to cut through, but it's up to you. Just remember to make sure the insides are cooked all the way. And it was hot as fuck. Ouch. Yeah, you don't want it ooey gooey or gross on the inside. If it is, then either your oven's too hot or you didn't leave it in there long enough. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Now onto the tortillas. This is 3 cups of flour and 1 tablespoon of baking powder, a 1/4 cup of water, a 1/2 cup or more of butter, melted butter, and then a teeny bit of salt, and then mix and mix. You guys will notice I really only use 1 spoon. That's because this is a magic fucking spoon. It can be any spoon that you choose for your magic spoon, but choose one, clean it, consecrate it, pray over it, do whatever you gotta do to it. Fuck it if you need to. Don't do that. That's nasty. And then use that for all of your food. I promise your food will taste better. Now you're gonna flour your mat. I like to knead my tortilla dough. You don't have to knead it like me. I do this because for ritualistic purposes, I do it 33 times. And it makes me happy. And it makes my food taste better. But it's up to you. Just make sure it's all formed together and in a little ball. Remember, there's no yeast in this. It should not rise. If it does, your bread is possessed. Now we're going to break it up into little balls. Idiot me only filmed like me doing 2 of those. So take a piece off, roll it, and put it in a bowl, and then put that to the side. Put some paper towels over it. Remember to pray over it. Oh, there they are. Remember to pray, do your magic spells, your magic prayers, whatever you want to say. Or just put a paper towel over it and put it aside for 20 minutes. Now take one of your little balls out, flour your bread mat, roll your rolling pin in the flour, and then flour both sides of the tortilla or the dough while pressing it into the flour, and then roll it out. I never make mine circular. They're never gonna be circular. For whatever reason, I just can't do it. So I like to play a fun game of see what shape I can make and see if you can see Jesus in my tortillas. I don't fucking know. He looks depressed. Put it in a hot ass pan, hot to the touch. You'll see little bubbles forming. When you see a lot of bubbles forming, you're gonna flip it. You don't want it to have big giant bubbles, just like bubbles like this. It should look like this. Then you're going to flip it to the other side. Now, if you want to count to like 10 because you can't see the bubbles on this side, you can do that. Count to 7. Depends on how hot your pan is. And there you go. Then you just take it off, flip it again so you make sure both sides are done, and then take it off and you have lots of tortillas. Super easy, super simple. Now, this is the easiest thing you're ever going to make in your life. Cut up tortillas, the tortillas you just made. Do not go buy tortillas and cut them up. Cut them up into 16ths, I think is what it is. Is it eighths? Eighths? Yes, eighths. We can call it 16ths. And remember, 20 tortillas makes like one basic basket of chips. So I used like 5 of them and I got like half of a basket of chips. But it's worth it calorie-wise. Pour a little bit of butter or oil over it. Mix it up really good. And if you want to pre-salt it, you can. I just put on the salt after it. But mix it up really good, and then you're going to put it on a pan, on an oven pan, and you're going to put it in the oven at 365 for 10 to 15 minutes. I like mine slightly burnt. If you don't like that, leave it in there for 7 minutes. Now you can salt them, or you can put other seasonings on them, or you can just leave them as is and dip them in something, and that's it. Super easy. Your 3 most fattening foods made by yourself at home, and it's cheaper this way. You just need to have the time to do it. If you pre-make the dough, you will have the time to do it. And remember, stay fucking skinny.